Okay, hello everyone, Sir Owen Disney here. I'm a little bit, sleepy. Obviously, there's no glasses on, so I'm obviously heading off to Dreamland soon. I'll, break the fourth wall and basically tell you that it's almost 11:30 on Monday night. This is your Sunday video wow, long day. Okay, let me start again. It is 11:30 on Monday night, and this is your Tuesday video. So this will be going up on Tuesday. So this video will be up on Tuesday. Once again, I want to thank everyone out there for helping us get to 10,000 views so quickly. We are going to be hitting 100 subscribers very, very soon. But once again, thank you everyone out there for believing in Pop and helping us get to 10,000 in only 8 months. So it didn't take us very long either, so that's good. So, I recapped NXT and SmackDown. I recapped Impact yesterday, or should I say today. So, let's talk Raw. Before I get started, I do want to mention that I have some good news and some bad news. Okay. On the good news turn. Excuse me. Well, actually, I have 2 bits of good news and 1 piece of bad news. Let's start with the bad news first, actually. Well, the Lindsay from California, yeah, that didn't pan out. Asking for a little bit more than I'm willing to spend on points. Actually, more than the one-time usage points that DVC actually is allowed to pay. So, if I went with DVC points as of this moment, if I went like the one-time usage, like you can get 24 one-time use points a year, that would have cost me. Well, actually, I'll ballpark it right now. It would have cost me $255. So I'm getting it for a little bit less than that. I'm going to save about 20 bucks. Yeah, I know. 20 bucks, 20 bucks, people. Sorry. So it's signed, sealed, and delivered. And 20 bucks via basically me having to wait until August 4th and all the availability drying up by then. So, in the next few days, it will be 100% official. I will be staying at the Grand Floridian for the first day of my December trip before reunion, December 4th. So, that is a guarantee as of right now. I got a rental agreement. Hopefully, I'll have that in the email in the next few days. I want to get this signed, sealed, and delivered as quick as humanly possible. I'm working with a Villas Grand Floridian owner, and I'm very happy they're able to work this out for me. So, yes, I will be staying at the Grand Floridian, which means at 14 extra points, I'm going to be canceling my Saratoga Springs reservation and banking those points to use next year. So, Sir Owen Disney is going to stay his first day before reunion at Bay Lake Tower. So, that's going to be the plan. And as of right now, it looks like I'm going to check into Pop. Product placement. And I will be checking into Pop on the 19th. I'll check out on the 22nd, and on the 22nd, I will meet my dad and my stepmom. We'll go to one of the All-Stars, and we'll stay there until they'll probably be there the 28th, 29th. I'll most likely be there the 30th or October 1st. Haven't quite decided yet. Just depends on what I've got worked out. So that's the plan. My piece of good news that was obviously the one piece of good news. My second piece of good news actually involves AJ. And as of this very moment, it has actually been announced that the Way Way Back is coming to Athena Cinema. So we'll be able to see the Way Way Back very, very soon. So we don't have to worry about it. It's on the calendar. It's kind of looming over our heads right now. Just got released, and Athens really jumped the gun on this one and actually brought it in. So we're very happy about it coming to Athena Cinema, and hopefully, the digital projector will be fixed soon enough so Much Ado About Nothing can play at least one time before it leaves, and hopefully we'll be there for it. If not, like AJ said, hopefully it won't end up like the East. So basically, the Way Way Back is coming to Athena Cinema, and that is going to be awesome. So basically, Nat Faxon and Jim Rash, the gentlemen that were behind the Descendants, they're doing the Way Way Back. It's Steve Carell, Tony Collette, and Allison Janney. So just to name a few. It's a nice little indie film. It looks really good, and a nice coming-of-age story. I'm looking forward to it, so hopefully we'll get to see it very soon. So, Way Way Back, hopefully coming to AJ's movie reviews very soon. So, let's go without any further ado. It's time to talk Raw. And, full disclosure, before Raw today, Ben and Will came over. And we got about 3 new videos. We got 2 new videos from Ben. A new Gogo Bordello video talking about his new album, which comes out tomorrow, actually. Or should I say today, depending on when you watch this video. Comes out on the 23rd of July, and that means that he's reviewing it. He actually got it the other day, so we got the recap done and all taken care of, so I'll probably put that up in the next few days. And there's also another video that basically Ben was talking about his love for the former Jaws attraction in the Amity section of Universal Studios Florida, which of course is now going to be taken over by Diagon Alley. You know, Gringotts Bank Coaster, the Leaky Cauldron, the London Waterfront, basically all this stuff coming to Universal Studios Florida next year. So, Will sat there, basically, I sat there, and we kind of chimed in every once in a while, but basically this is about Ben's video to talk about Universal and his love of the skippers from Captain Jake's boat tours for Amity, so yeah. It's a big Jaws video that's coming up. And also, new World tutorial in the can talking about the aforementioned Batman and Superman team-up movie that was announced at San Diego Comic-Con over the weekend. And Will's got a lot to say about that, about a 45-minute video there. So, you will check that out here on Pop in a couple of days. So, let's talk Raw. So, this was it's a big edition of Raw. The first segment, real quick, I'll let you know, I'm not as in depth this week, I guess you could say. Call it tiredness. I don't know what you want to call it. Call it the fact that because we were still filming the Will tutorial when Raw began, we watched the first match, the first segment and into the first match on closed caption, which actually was a great idea to do that, and it was really funny because some of the captioning was really hilarious due to the fact that, I don't know, they didn't catch some of the thing. I think it was like Heymasters was basically Paul Heyman's name. I thought that was funny. So anyway, first segment, Brad Maddox comes out. Of course, he is your Raw general manager. He comes out, he says, no one is more Texas than I, the sheriff of Monday Night Raw. Another thing he was missing was that double guns. So he brings out John Cena, and he brings out Daniel Bryan for a contract signing. So we have a legitimate contract signing, and they basically, there's a little bit of back and forth there. No animosity. It's basically 2 baby faces, and Brad Maddox is the one who plays the antagonist this time around. Basically saying, Bryan isn't good enough. What has he done to deserve this? He's a little man in a big man's world, basically. I'm paraphrasing, of course. That's pretty much what he said. And, you know, he needs to prove himself. So tonight, Daniel Bryan has to run the gauntlet and beat however many men that Brad Maddox sees fit to put him against to prove himself worthy for a WWE Championship match against John Cena at SummerSlam. So, that's the first segment. First match of the evening, Sheamus and current WWE World Heavyweight Champion Alberto Del Rio in a non-title match. This actually was a pretty good match, really solid match to start off Raw. We go midway through the match. He ducks Sheamus' clothesline, German suplex, and he misses the kick, gets caught over the shoulder power slam. Sheamus mows him over with 2 big Irish hammers, the shoulder block, a big knee lift, you know, the normal Sheamus offense, and an interesting spinning back elbow off the middle turnbuckle for 2. Del Rio lands the backstabber, and he goes for the Del Rio slide, and he misses. He goes hard to the ground, and he gets caught with the clubbing blows. Sheamus nails him with the clubbing blows. Del Rio catches him with a neck snap on the top rope, and catches him off the ropes. Irish curse backbreaker, 1-2, and a kick out. So Del Rio kicks out. He goes up top and does Sheamus going presumably for the battering ram. He gets caught with a step-up enziguri kick. He falls off the top rope. Del Rio covers, 1-2, and again, Sheamus kicks out. Sheamus picks up Del Rio, fireman's carry, goes for the Finley roll, nails it, goes for the brogue kick, he misses, he gets kicked in the leg, goes for the cross arm breaker, gets shoved off into the middle turnbuckle. He goes for a white noise, but the leg gives out, and basically that allows Del Rio to cleanly roll him up for the 1-2-3. So clean win for the World Heavyweight Champion against Sheamus, and Sheamus will go on, of course, on NXT this week to face off against Luke Harper of the Wyatt family. And Alberto Del Rio will go on to SmackDown on Friday night, where he will be taking on Rob Van Dam in the first ever battle between those two. That should be pretty good, actually. Then our next match of the evening, Christian taking on the big deal Titus ONeil of the Primetime Players. Big leg drop, 1-2, and Christian kicks out. Titus goes for the abdominal stretch, and he runs in, and he catches the knees up in the corner. Missile drop kick off the middle turnbuckle by Christian. He nails a forearm off the ropes. He leaps over the top rope and nails a big right hand, of course, like he does all the time. And a spinning back elbow, goes for the kill switch, and it gets not really countered, but he kind of breaks it because D. Young gets on the gets up on the ropes, gets up on the ring apron, and he gets baseball slid drop kicked by Christian to knock him out. Titus plants him with a big boot, 1-2, and no. And he ends up getting turned around into a kill switch, 1-2-3, and Christian wins. Mark Henry comes out. He says he's proud of being a full-fledged Texan. He calls out the Shield. Of course, the Shield oblige him really quickly. They come out, they attack, and the Usos come out for the save, and a big avalanche on Roman Reigns, and he looks like he's going to join the Hall of Pain, but Ambrose and Rollins pull him out of the ring, and they live to fight another day. So we have not seen the last of this battle between the now teetering on the brink of babyface status Mark Henry and the Usos against the Shield. I think that match, I said this match might happen tonight. It probably will happen on SmackDown if it doesn't happen after that. I mean, you could go all the way to SummerSlam maybe with it. I don't know. But it's anyone's guess. So, next segment of the evening. Speaking of the Primetime Players, No Days Off, Darren Young taking on Dolph Ziggler, and Ziggler comes in the ring and nails a big standing drop kick for a 2 as we go midway through the match like we always do. Forearm and a backdrop onto the top turnbuckle by Darren Young, who actually shows a lot of intensity in this match. It was really good. There's a whip-in, clothesline, 1-2, and a kick-out. Goes to the chin lock. He gets up to his feet, gets taken back down. He gets hair-mared out of the corner, does Dolph Ziggler. Snapmare, a neck crank into a dragon sleeper, the sloppiest dragon sleeper I've ever seen in my life. Turned back to a neck crank, turned back into a chin lock with one arm, and then it switched to the opposite arm. Young didn't know what he wanted to do at the one point, and Ziggler pretty much breaks it up completely by nailing a jawbreaker to break the hold up. So he charges in, he goes shoulder first into the ring post, and a big splash in the corner from Dolph, and hooking clothesline, 1-2, and a kick out. Goes for the Hangman's neck breaker, gets shoved off, and a big 10 punch from Dolph, and it gets reversed into picks up for an electric chair, and he flips him off Edge style into a wheelbarrow style facebuster, or an Ocean Cyclone, sit out Ocean Cyclone facebuster. 1-2 and a kick out, and basically they go back and forth a little bit, and nailed with a zigzag is Titus ONeil, 1-2-3. So Big E comes in the ring, and Dolph catches him, ducks the Vader attack, low bridges Big E, sending him over the top rope to the floor, and he runs away to fight another day. It's the best Looney Tunes battle between the Wile E. Coyote and the Roadrunner that we've ever seen on WWE television, so yeah. Or, I guess you could say, it might be Speedy Gonzalez, potentially. Either way, it still works. Now, I go with Roadrunner and Wile E. Coyote. I think that makes good sense to call it that. All I'm going to say about the Miz TV segment with the Total Divas cast, yeah, Brie Bella, yeah, you might want to cover that up. That's all I got to say. There are pictures available if you are a man out there. Sorry, I'm going to put that over. I put over what happened with Caitlyn. A little wardrobe malfunction for Brie Bella, too. So, yeah, not her, it was nice to see. I'm not going to lie about that. But, I mean, yeah, if you're a child, don't go looking for those pictures. So, yeah. Basically, this was done to set up the Total Divas, which debuts Sunday on the E! Network at 10 p.m. I'll be watching. I'm interested to see how it's going to work. So, we introduced, of course, the Bellas, the Funkadactyls, Natalya, and the newcomers, JoJo and Eva Marie, who had some of the worst presents I've ever seen in my life. A really horrible promo where she slapped Jerry the King Lawler in the face, and who, by the way, took over for The Miz momentarily until he got slapped and then he bombed out. And basically she slapped him to make an impact. Yeah, that was pretty useless. Just to build up Total Divas. No need to mention anymore. Next match of the evening, Fandango taking on Cody Rhodes. This match was really good. Damian Sandow on commentary, of course. Whip in, back elbow on for a 2 count from Fandango. Fandango goes back to the cravat, and Cody punches out. Goes back to the cravat again. Cody again punches out. Ducks the clothesline. Snap jab. Duck the Rhodes style. And a big right hand. Whip in, reverse, and the drop uppercut from basically the back bump uppercut, I guess is what we want to call it, from Cody Rhodes. And he catches Fandango and gives him the Bob Holly special. You know what? The when he's holding both legs and he kicks you right between the legs. And this is an interesting finish. Cody goes up top for the standing moonsault. For the so he dives off and he overshoots Fandango. So you can catch. This is where it pays to know what you're talking about. This is all on Cody right here. He overshot Fandango. So, which is kind of funny because Jericho overshot Fandango at WrestleMania this year. And both times they got saved by Fandango. So, basically, he comes in and he has to kind of slide into position to catch Cody, or Cody would have broke his neck without question. So, Fandango basically just saved Cody Rhodes' career right there without any question, or at least saved him from being hospitalized for a long time. So, Fandango goes to the floor to try to regroup. Sandow's like, ain't having this. So he gets in the ring with the briefcase, and he puts the briefcase up in the air to show Cody to distract him. Fandango charges in. He goes to go into Damian Sandow. He puts the brakes on, and Cody comes off the middle turnbuckle, well, middle rope in this case, springboard into the beautiful disaster, and sends the case into the face of Fandango. Also, a domino effect, knocking Sandow off the apron. And Cody picks up Fandango and plants him with a vicious crossroads. 1, 2, 3. So, really awesome match. And I love how they've been really pushing Fandango actually as a legitimate competitor, and it's been awesome, and I'm very happy to see this continue, and I'm sure it's going to. Fandango will have singles gold either before the year's over or early 2014, mark my words. CM Punk comes out, and he says, without any question, without any words, I am not afraid of Brock Lesnar. Paul Heyman will live to regret his decision to double-cross me. I'm paraphrasing in some of these here. This is my ring. I own this ring. And I prove it every single night. Paulie, listen up real good. There will not be a third time. I will make you pay. I won't pretend Brock isn't a monster. But you know what? Monsters were put in my way to be slaughtered. At SummerSlam, I want the best versus the beast. So Heyman comes on the Titantron live via satellite and says, best versus the beast. What a great marketing idea. But you know what? There's two kinds of people in the world. You know what a hero is? A hero is simply a coward without any options. Or a fool just too stupid to stay down. Question is, Punk, are you a coward or are you a fool? Punk smirks and goes, I guess you and your client will find out at SummerSlam. So basically Heyman's like, you know what, you seem to want to fight, and you know, probably not the best idea to get in a fight with the Beast Incarnate, but you know what? If you want to fight at SummerSlam, a fight you shall have. We accept your challenge. So it will be CM Punk and Brock Lesnar officially made for SummerSlam. And basically, don't keep saying the best versus the Beast, though, you know, now I think about it. Because you know what? It's kind of an oxymoron. The best is the Beast. And the Beast is my best friend in the whole world, Brock Lesnar. Punk's left to think about it, and that's the end of the segment. Interesting. So, next match of the evening, Wade Barrett getting the jobber entrance again. Sad Panda taking on Rob Van Dam. Of course, I guess you can call him Mr. Monday Night in this case. So, Barrett chokes him in the middle ropes and ties him up in the ropes like he always does and hits those knee strikes. And the big boot knocks Van Dam upside down into the ropes, kind of ties him up there momentarily. And we get back to live action, chin lock. Van Dam elbows out of it. A kick to the face. He comes up top for the leaping side kick off the top. Rolling Thunder, 1-2, and a kick out. At this point, Barrett's mouth is busted wide open. I'm going to guess when he kicked him in the face, he probably loosened a few teeth because Barrett's mouth immediately filled with blood. So, he goes up top, and he plants him with a somersault senton, or I guess you would go with the old Molly go round, or the Dragon Rana without the Rana, I guess, maybe. Shoulder block, backflip, charges in, caught a back kick from Wade Barrett, whip in, reverse, wheel kick in the corner. He goes up top, standing side kick off the top from the springboard, goes up top, 5-star frog splash, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, not a really good match. Not really. So next we get the Daniel Bryan gauntlet, and Brad Maddox has pretty much set this roadblock in Daniel Bryan's path. Doesn't really say if he loses, he's not going to get to challenge SummerSlam. It just basically says that I'm just going to put this roadblock in your path because I'm a tool. I like Brad Maddox, I really do, and I really like the heel Brad Maddox, even though the fact that he's basically being treated like a puppet because you got Vince telling him one thing, you got Triple H telling him another, you got Stephanie telling him a whole different thing altogether, and obviously this roadblock was pretty much instigated by Vince McMahon. Vince, of course, has one on record storyline, and basically just to tell people that he doesn't want Daniel Bryan in the main event. He doesn't think he deserves it. He's not big enough. He's not strong enough. He's not the WWE 7-foot, 300-pound behemoth. So, basically, he's not worthy of the main event for SummerSlam. That's basically to have him prove himself. So he gets in the ear of Brad Maddox and he's like, you should have him do some matches so he can prove himself. And by that time, maybe he'll get injured and it won't matter. We'll have a match for SummerSlam. Ha ha ha, I walk like Vince. So, Daniel Bryan runs the gauntlet. And the gauntlet ends up being the Real Americans. The first is Jack Swagger. This match doesn't last very long. 2 shoulder blocks in the midsection. And 5 knees to the midsection. Swagger's in firm control. Big suplex. And he gets stunned with a drop kick. Tope, he gets caught with a right hand, comes back in the ring, goes for a Swagger bomb, it gets countered in the yes lock, tap, tap, tap. So that's the end of that, so who cares, whatever. Jack Swagger loses to Daniel Bryan, no big deal. This is what I'm talking about, the real main event of tonight. Daniel Bryan against Antonio Cesaro. They gave this match close to 20 minutes. With commercial breaks, I'd say they gave it 20 minutes, and they went at it. Oh my god, this match was awesome. I'd love to have done it move for move, and I know I could have. But I will at least talk about what I remember. So let's go with it. He goes whip in. He gets reversed. Reversed in a high-velocity whip sends Bryan chest first into the... Wow. Into the buckle for a 2 count. So Cesaro goes for that tight chin lock, which I guess is called Edelweiss now. And Bryan elbows out, and dragon screw leg whip, and he grabs it again, and another dragon screw leg whip, and 3 successions with the dragon screw leg whip. And he goes for the surfboard, and the surfboard gets turned into a scissor stomp, and suplex, block, nice high vertical suplex, and he ground and pounds Daniel Bryan with the forearms. So he drops the point of the elbow right in the chest, 1-2, Bryan kicks out. He goes for the Edelweiss yet again, he elbows out, whip in, reverse, backflip, ducks the clothesline, hooking clothesline, and those stiff kicks, those yes kicks, over and over again, kicking the ribs of Antonio Cesaro, goes for the buzzsaw, gets reversed, into the Edelweiss again, and he gets back to the corner, and he still has it in, and he gets back to the corner again, and he breaks the hold finally. He gets nailed with that Austin Aries style IED dropkick in the corner, and then he leaps in the air, seated dropkick for Cesaro is slumped down in the corner, makes a cover, 1-2, and a kick out. So he goes for the swan dive headbutt, and he leaps off, he gets caught with a Swiss uppercut, 1-2, and a kick out. No ref, because Zeb was actually had the ref momentarily. So he goes for the Edelweiss, he gets shoved off again, over the shoulder, into a tilt-a-whirl backbreaker, and he goes back to that Edelweiss again, back body drop, countered into a sunset flip, 1-2, and a kick out. So he goes for the deadlift side salto, plants him, 1-2, and Bryan kicks out. Headbutt, and then forearms, and then he ducks it, and Cesaro nails that Alpamare water slide out of nowhere, 1-2, and Bryan kicks out. So he runs in, charges in, he catches the knee of Daniel Bryan, the release German suplex, drops Cesaro right on his head, and when he slumps up to his knees, bam, buzzsaw kick, 1, 2, and kick out from Antonio Cesaro. So he goes up top, he gets crotched up top by Cesaro, he goes up, dives up, and leaping Swiss uppercut, goes for the superplex. It gets countered with a knee strike, kind of like he was going for El Generico's brainbuster on the top turnbuckle. So a forearm up top, superplex, counter again, shoved off onto the turnbuckle, backwards, locked in the Tree of Woe, stiff kicks to the chest. Bryan charges and leaps in the air, baseball slide drop kick right to the ribs of Cesaro, and basically he pulls him back up, goes up top, belly to back, superplex, countered, momentum shift, and Cesaro lands on top of Bryan, 1, 2, and barely kicks out at 3. Big Swiss uppercut, and Bryan counters with the European uppercut, so they trade uppercuts, and then Cesaro freaking snaps. He nails 16 stiff-ass European uppercuts, Swiss uppercuts, over and over and over again to Daniel Bryan, and a huge short-arm clothesline, spins Bryan like a top, and Bryan still manages to kick out. You cannot keep dragging down. So he goes for the Gotch-style neutralizer, gets countered into a back body drop, and they trade forearms, and then a dragon screw leg whip into the Indian deathlock, and Bryan rains the forearms down on the prone jaw of Antonio Cesaro. So goes for the back elbow, he sidesteps him, Cesaro goes to the middle ropes, go to the floor, and basically Swagger is trying to get him up to his feet. Bryan charges, tope on both Real Americans, sending them into the barricade, and he tosses them back in. A forearm, he leaps over, he leaps off the top, lands on his feet, and he goes, throws him up in the air for the Swiss Death European uppercut, gets caught with the DDT. You think he's going to DDT him, and he just slides in as smooth as silk into an inside cradle, 1, 2, 3, and Bryan wins. My God, I want this match on pay-per-view, and I want this match to have at least 30 minutes. Daniel Bryan and Antonio Cesaro delivered in spades tonight, and they delivered in the ways that they did back when they were Bryan Danielson and Claudio Castagnoli. The names have changed, but the styles remain the same. What an incredible encounter. And not to be outdone, this should have been the main event, and if I was booking, this would have been the main event, but it was not to be. Because the main event ended up being Daniel Bryan against one more competitor. Now, we have heard that the Big Show was supposed to be on Raw making his return. I thought it was going to be the Big Show against Daniel Bryan. Well, I even wrote the, and then of course I erased it off when Ryback comes out, so yeah. Well, that's our official main event, Daniel Bryan versus Ryback, but I guess I would call this the Gauntlet match, the main event of Raw. So, oh yeah, no Wyatt family. Are they going to show up? Who knows? Will Daniel Bryan follow the Buzzards like his former tag team partner in Hell No did? We'll find out sooner rather than later. So Bryan gets beeled out of the corner by Ryback. He stomps away. He steps on Bryan's throat. High velocity whip in the corner on Daniel Bryan, sends him chest first in. Big snap suplex after Ryback got the you can't wrestle chance. And of course he snap suplexes him over. Float over pin, 1, 2, and a kick out. So goes the chin lock, he ducks the clothesline, and a Thez press from Ryback turn into a half Boston Crab, and Ryback's about to give it up. Obviously, they're playing up his knee injury. The one that, of course, was so bad that he had to give up a match to The Miz, basically because of a ref stoppage. And he basically makes it to the ropes, back elbow, big Ultimate Warrior style splash, 1, 2, Bryan kicks out. So, big spine buster, he charges in, catches the knee, and the big time drop kick into the corner, and then he nails it twice, and on the third time, Ryback explodes out of the corner with a big clothesline, 1, 2, and Bryan kicks out. So he goes outside the ring, he grabs the table, sets the table up outside. At this point, Bryan charges in out of nowhere, nails a tope, sends Ryback hard into the announce table, and Ryback shoves Bryan hard into the ring steps. They both go back in. The stiff kicks basically breaks Ryback down, and a sunset flip, 1, 2, and he kicks out. So he goes for the S-lock. It gets countered, and he gets dropped toe hold into the middle turnbuckle. Kick to the face from Daniel Bryan, and he goes up top. Missile drop kick, 1, 2, and a kick out. Goes for the S-lock, and right before Ryback has to give it up, he grabs the ropes. So he looks like he's going to go for the charging knee off the apron when they go to the floor. And he runs in, and instead of a charging apron knee, he goes for a diving Rana and gets caught, spun around, power bombed right on the floor. So he picks him up, sets him by the table, power bombs him right through the table, and that's disqualification. That's officially the end of the match. So Super Cena runs out, and he makes a save for Daniel Bryan, even though Bryan told him to stay in the back. And he fights Ryback off, and Ryback gets clotheslined over the top rope to the floor. Basically, John Cena makes a tables match between him and Ryback for next week's Raw, which, of course, will probably end up being the dark match on tonight's Raw, to be totally honest, like it usually is. So, Bryan celebrates, and Vince McMahon and Brad Maddox are the last words here, basically the last words before they celebrate. Brad Maddox is basically like, okay, alright, now you got through this, and he's like, Vince is like, I got a better idea. How about next week we have Daniel Bryan take on his best friend? So, Maddox is like, okay, I pick up what you're putting down, Vince. How about next week, Daniel Bryan versus Kane? He's like, that's a damn great idea. He almost said, I'm glad I thought of it, but he didn't. So that's how we end Raw tonight. So, yeah. Very Bryan-heavy episode of Raw. And like I said, he is not the MVP of WWE for no reason, folks. He really is. He really is the star of the WWE right now. And women and children aside, Daniel Bryan is the most over superstar in the company, without any question. There is nobody that even comes close right now. So, what did we learn today, boys and girls? Well, Brad Maddox is an interesting GM. He makes face decisions, but he also makes heel decisions, and his decisions are made by the McMahons. The McMahons are basically treating him like a puppet right now. All three McMahon, well, Vince, Triple H, and Stephanie all have a hand, literally, on Brad Maddox, telling him to do the thing they want to do in different directions, just pulling him every which way. So, of course, they make a contract signing for the SummerSlam match. They sign the contract. There's no chicanery. There's no hullabaloo. And there's no like craziness that happens during normal contract signings. Just a normal babyface contract signing that you think something's going to happen, and it never does. But Brad Maddox is the antagonizer in this case and pretty much says Bryan's not worth it. And he says, you know what, to prove your worth, how about you have a gauntlet match tonight? Alberto Del Rio gets a clean victory over Sheamus. Doesn't see Del Rio win by clean win very often. So really a good match to start off the show. Christian and Titus ONeil had a serviceable match, and I was happy with, and also Dolph Ziggler and Darren Young basically showed the primetime players. They still lost tonight, but it was awesome because they hung with the bigger talent, and I really was happy with that. They hung with the single superstars to prove that they can do not only singles but tag team action, but I'm switching that. They can not only be a great serviceable tag team, but they also can be singles competitors as well. So after the Primetime Players ends, they both probably will still have a spot on the WWE roster. Mark Henry and the Usos are fighting the Shield, and I got no problem with that, so that's good with me. Total Divas is going to be on this Sunday at 10 o'clock on E! Network. Go watch it if you want. Fawn, Dongho and Cody Rhodes had a really awesome match. I'd like to see these two go at it again. Cody Rhodes beats Fawn Dongho with the Crossroads, and Summer Rae looking vivacious as ever. And CM Punk comes out, and they officially make the match for SummerSlam, Punk and Lesnar. That will be that's facilitated by the Advocate, Paul Heyman, so that works really well. And we got Rob Van Dam beating Wade Barrett, blooding his mouth, and then beating him. You have Daniel Bryan running the gauntlet against Jack Swagger, which was whatever. And then one of the best pure wrestling matches I've seen on television in a while. Obviously, you could throw this around a lot. I mean, this was a phenomenal encounter between Daniel Bryan and Antonio Cesaro. And for those of you that don't think Antonio Cesaro can go, watch this match. This match was phenomenal. He even broke out the Alpamare water slide. The only thing missing from this match, were the Ricola Bomb and the UFO. And this would have been an old school Antonio Cesaro, Claudio Castagnoli style matchup, and it would have been phenomenal. So, and this match was amazing. I'd love to see this match get 30 minutes on pay-per-view. It was incredible. So, that was Raw, and that was the show for tonight. So, that's the end of this video. So, Daniel Bryan again becomes further proving why he is the MVP of WWE. So, that's all for tonight. So, if you want to tweet me, you can. It's at Siro and Disney. You want to You can follow me on Twitter if you'd like. That's fine. I'd really appreciate it. More followers and more people that want to talk about wrestling or Disney, movies, or music, or television, or anything under the spectrum of pop culture that we talk about here on Pop. And if you want to email me, you can. You have ideas for segments. You want to give me your own videos. You want to become a popcaster yourself. You can shoot me an email, sorrowandisney@gmail.com. Or you can go and look at all these other videos we've had this week. All the AJ videos this past weekend. Everything down from the movie reviews to Versus to Summer of Tarantino. We've got Will tutorials from Will. We've got music reviews from Ben. We've got Molly's Corner coming at you very soon. And a lot of content. I have to talk about Halloween Horror Nights, and obviously the world of Disney, Universal, SeaWorld, and all theme parks in between, as well as television, movies, music, all different facets of pop culture here on Pop. And until tomorrow, boys and girls. Wait a minute. Wyatt family weren't on Raw tonight. I didn't wait. I waited to the end for a reason for this, folks. Justin LaBar said it best. Wyatts didn't really need to be on Raw tonight. There wasn't a reason for it. They had the video package that makes you want, that whets your appetite for the Wyatts. And the Wyatts are going to make their presence known next week. Will Kane follow the Buzzards? We will find out next week on Raw. So until tomorrow, boys and girls, that's all I gotta say.